Okay. Hello YouTube. This will be my video about the upcoming tournament for the next weekend and a tier list for high level dueling. This will be my opinion. It's very important for me to point out that this is my opinion and I can be wrong in some of these, but this is what I think are the best. So let's just jump straight into it. In the S tier we got Tornado Juice, Meteor and Bone Necro. These three are by far the three best characters I've seen so far in this season 8. Nader Druid has so many strong sides and has a Cyclone armor to get in defense, a lot of health. Obviously, Nader Druid has always been good in PvP and it should continue to be. Meteor Source getting stacked against both fire and PDR is so tough on your opponent. They either have to choose or go a bit of half and half on either, and it's very hard to counter. Also, it's a sorceress, so they can teleport away all the time. Very hard to catch, definitely. An S tier. Then we have the Bone Spear. Bone Necro in general. Like, Necromancer has so much defense potential with the Cyclone armor and so many offensive spells. Both spears will follow people. No, spirits will follow people. Spear and teeth. Just really strong and really hard to deal with. So on the A tier, and this I kind of feel like is very interesting because there's so many builds you can do now that is viable, and I'd say that is A tier. This is not just Pressure Druid, but also just in general Fire Druid. Super solid, got a big hit. Well, didn't get a big hit, but got a little bit of a nerf early on because it was S minus, whatever. It was so fucking strong, and I think it's in a really good place now. Fire Druid. It's really strong still and has a lot of potential, and it's fair. So if you like to spam all of those kind of stuff around and run and catch your opponent off guard, that's definitely a play. Blizzard Sorceress. If you watched the last tournament, that was me getting owned by Blizzard Sorceress. If you're not ready for this with the right resistance setup, you're gone. Even if you're facing an opponent with the right setup, it's still quite strong. And then we have Lightning Sentry, or, well, I don't play Assassin, I am assuming this is a Trapper. So, for this season we have not really seen, I haven't really seen any Trappers yet. So, I'm kind of taking this on the hunt that the previous seasons, and I didn't really see any nerf to it either. So I would say this is still A tier. I'm very curious if Lucky's gonna come in and kill us all with it again. Hammerdens. So Hammerdens and Charge is nerfed in high level dueling. You can only run a little bit, and then Charge has a cooldown on like 0. something seconds. So Hammerden is definitely not as strong as it is on other mods, but it's still strong. You can still do the Hammerden and run a little bit further away, so you're still having the Hammerdens in your range, so if the opponent is teleporting on you, you got them cornered. But it's definitely still strong and useful. We got the Holy Bolter. So Holy Bolter is basically just a Necromancer that's spamming his spears. But then the Holy Bolter has this Holy Nova instead of the spears and the teeth. It's a pretty cool build. I am building one this season. Also, on a Paladin you have a lot of health and a lot of opportunities to stack against your opponent. So I definitely think this is A tier. I do not believe it's S tier yet. Then we got the good old famous Plague Zone. If you're building it right, and if you want to know how to build it right, just ask John, Mr. Godly PK. This is definitely A tier. and it's so toxic to play against because the movement speed they have, you gotta chase them and get a kill in. It's very hard. But yeah, I'll put it up on A tier. Now, the Warcry Barbarian, that is a fun one because that is so strong when it hits. And you need to stack like 70, and that's not enough, 90 PDR to have fully stacked PDR against these. They will put you down at 4 from, well, that's kind of hard to say, but they will put you 40% down in PDR. So if you have 50, you'll be at 10 PDR. And you can block these attacks, but it's kind of a lottery. If you block it, it's not that, it doesn't seem that OP, but if he gets 3 Warcries in a row, you're basically dead. It's a very strong build. This could go to S tier, but since I've only seen one of them this season, I don't have all the data I need to. But it's definitely strong. Hydroshock, always a strong build. If you can kite good around it, put up the triangle and make your opponent chase you, that kind of stuff, put in some telekinesis, it's definitely strong. Fireball. So Fireball, Combustion with a combo of Hydras. I think right now I've only seen 2 of those, and both of them are doing really great. You need to play this one a little bit with patience, because Fire, if your opponent has the maximum rest that's allowed, it does not do that much of damage, so you need to be a bit patient with the fight. But it is definitely strong. Also, sorceries are just so hard to catch. So, let's move out to B tier. And these are the ones that I've seen a few of, but I'm not totally sure of. You know, some of them have some potential to move down, some of them have potential to move up. We can go with the Smiter. I got a Smiter right now, actually. I would say nothing. Like, I've been making Smiters like every fucking season, and I know how to build a Smiter, I'd say. I got 3 of them on non-leather as well. I think you need very specific gear to make a Smiter work, and you need to play it really, really well. So that's why it's in B tier. It is not as strong as it, in my opinion, should be. So that's why it's in B. So we got the Nova Sorceress. I've seen a few of those, and if they get a good hit in, like stomping you and you're not ready for it, these guys will just one-shot you. Those Infinity Sorceress, I mean, damn, they are killing stuff. The same with Frost Nova, for that matter. So, Summoner Druid. I'm not gonna lie. One of the guys from my stream was coming into my duel game, and he was a Summoner Druid. Those spears are fucking insane. 3 hits from a beer and you're dead. And that's even with your PDR setup. They do have a lot of weak setups, because a lot of characters will just get rid of the beer. But some matchups don't have the one-shot beer potential, so I'm actually putting this in B for the beer. Then we got the Guided Arrow. I mean, Guided Arrow, multi-shot, have a swap for jab. Amazons in general, I think this could move up to A tier, to be honest, but since I haven't seen many of them, I'm keeping it down here. I did build one last season, but I didn't have a lot of opponents to test it out with, so it kinda fell to the ground. So Seal is also another B tier. Since charge is nerfed and you cannot just charge around full speed with the Vigor and surprise your enemy with a joust, this is not as viable as it used to, but you can get so much damage on a Seal, and you can surprise people with it, still with a good joust. it is possible to play, and you got the teleport as well with if you're using Enigma. I still say Sela is a beer. B tier. Got Mind Blast in. Thank you for nerfing this. This was disgusting. I was so surprised by it, I got deleted. That maybe says a bit more about me than about the actual skill, but it's definitely still playable in high level. Fire Assassins also still playable. I do believe it's a B tier. We got a Frozen Orber, again, Sorceress, kinda possible to do a lot with. Woven Barbarian, I haven't seen a lot of them. This could move up to A tier, to be honest. But if you get on a wrong server, that's not your main server, teleporting around and hitting those warrants, that's just so toxic. In terms of the damage, I think it's okay. I only seen a few of them and they do hurt a lot. Then we got the Summoners on. I have not faced one yet, but oh yeah, I actually did face one, but that was on my Holy Bolter, so it wasn't that hard to beat. But this is toxic to play against, and it's definitely strong. There could be a build out there that would make this maybe even A or S tier. But right now I'm calling it a beer. B tier. I don't know why a beer is a B tier. So on the C, we got the Frozen Nova, Lightning Fury, and D stands for don't make these, Charger or Arctic Blast. I did forget about the Spider Sin though. Spider Sin I'd say is around P2A corner. So this was my take on the high level dueling PvP in Project Diablo 2 for S8. Streaming around 19 o'clock each day in Danish time. I don't know what that is. But also go and join us for the PvP. My name is Silver7 and see you online.